already paid the money for it is considering a downgrade. And it's like the majority, like most people don't care about a game being ethical. They don't care. Oh, it's a loot box. They don't care if it has loot boxes or not. Like, I understand, like, my perspective is a niche perspective. For sure. I get it. And that's the truth, is that people just want to play a fun game, and that's it. So whenever I see this, and I see all these people getting mad about it, it makes perfect sense. And then also, whenever the game didn't even come out. Like, they effectively said Overwatch 2, the reason why we're calling it 2 isn't going to happen. So, yeah. It makes complete fucking sense why people are pissed off about this game.
Story missions, and also because the game is just more accessible now. Our goal with Overwatch 2 has been to make the game more accessible than ever, there we go, for more people than ever before. Many of the reviews on Steam mention the cancellation of the much larger component of PvE, the hero missions, that was announced in 2019 as one of their primary reasons for dissatisfaction with the game. I love how they don't even mention hero missions anymore. They just say, there's that one thing people keep talking about that shall not be named. It's the hero missions. I don't know why omit the name altogether. I get that, he says, that people are dissatisfied with the cancellation of that mode. That announcement was about an ambitious project that we ultimately couldn't deliver. But the thing...
I don't see why. Why are they not able to do this? I think, oh, actually, you know what it could be? There could have been, like, a problem with, like, whenever you would queue up into an Overwatch PvE, I don't know, lobby, that you had to load everybody else's skin on their Battle.net account. And so it was causing the game to be really laggy. So because the game was so laggy and they didn't know what to do, they had to shut the game down. Because they couldn't figure out, like, how can we get people to be able to play the game without it lagging out? That has to be it. Yeah, it's got to be it.
Yes, this wasn't just...
And no, I don't mean for every character. I mean for every character in every other Blizzard game. So, like, Heroes of the Storm, you know, World of Warcraft mounts. Yeah, it loads all of those. Just in case.
Something that was announced, it was like a flagship element of Overwatch 2 that was marketed over and over again and hyped up continuously.
What's the reason why
before it was announced after the game's launch that this PvE mode would be scrapped after people bought the game, and after they knew for months that this mode would be scrapped, but decided to not disclose that because they knew it might potentially impact the
Can I bother you with some question? Not like this.
Could potentially impact the sales of Overwatch 2
during its launch
period. So in that sense,
yeah, I think that if they had announced that, like, I do think it's like really, I actually think that the only scummy thing that happened here is they didn't announce it earlier. The reason why is because, like, a lot of people bought skins for Overwatch 2 because they were excited about the PvE. So it's like, for example, like, imagine buying tickets to, like, a concert festival.
The basic is,
then,
I want to play Hollow Palm Frenzy,
you know, like,
but I am pretty lost at it. And I want to KL now if I can add a little more AoE. With Tato or something like that. Have you made the char yet? I found a pub. How Abatu you play and find out. That's how I do it lol. I am scared Kappa. I have a video, you want to see it? Dino dance. Sure, but I recommend go and play the build
that you were
lol.
buying tickets there to see just decided to, they canceled those tours. And so then they're not going to be there anymore. Well, I think a lot of people would
player
feel
here.
really
How do I get many
scammed.
mirrors?
They would feel like they got cheated because they paid to play, they wanted to see those people and now they're not going to be able to see them. And like the truth is that people bought the skins for their favorite characters, these expensive mythic skins.
https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=CTZFAF11. How are you? Min 1 is the mapping. Good, how are you? Tired KEKW. What else, haha? Chill, let me finish the map. No worries. Wondering if Nana fixed her coding.
Nope. She doesn't know what's up. I'll quickly show you. Wait, okay guys, let me finish my first.
And I think that a lot of people probably would not have bought those skins. And maybe not a lot of people, but I think that the total sales of skins would be lower if they didn't announce PvE ever. I think that the promise of PvE is what caused people to want to buy more skins. And so then canceling it really, and like again, it's not like Blizzard should get like put in jail for this. Like, I mean, plans change, right? I get it. But at the same time, like after you have a fuck up like that, how can people ever trust what you're going to do?
What's his main attack?
Frenzy.
Wow. That's good. Play it. Stop thinking about it so much, just play it. Okay, Lime. Here it is. So Nana's problem is... So we have kilometers and then either by foot or by bike. And yeah. Und was fehlt? Nee, du sagst, er weiß. Okay. So the time shit takes isn't defined, right? So yeah. Can you make a screenshot, Lime?
I think that KM should not be in parentheses.
Kilometer sollte nicht in...
Yeah, got one.
in so sein. In Klammern? Ja.
That's the first thing.
Warte. Okay. Nana tried without parentheses.
Tell you what, I'll find an online Python thing when I get out of this BG.
Okay. Ja, guck mal nach. Okay, even without the parentheses, it doesn't work.
Again.
And it feels like a bit of a deception where they knew this was going to happen, and yet they decided to kind of drag people by the nose for a little bit before they're like, oh, by the way, surprise. And I have little doubt that this was a decision on the leadership side of things. I don't know how high up the ladder this decision goes, but somebody in the higher up elements of Activision Blizzard decided, let's not talk about this until it's the right time, until after people have bought the game. And let's not...
Of course, you don't buy Overwatch 2. It's a free game. But what Young is saying is fundamentally true, that after people buy skins, after people invest into battle passes, after people start playing the game. So yeah, I mean, you didn't buy the game, but you're still buying into the game.
Spoil the optics surrounding Overwatch 2 more than they already were. I mean, the optics were already not great when Overwatch 2 first launched. And when Overwatch 2 was announced and it was shown that it doesn't look like a huge step forward from Overwatch 1. But again, the hero missions, at the very least, people are like, okay, that's new and that seems substantial. So that
it looked really cool.
If they nail that, then maybe I'll be like, okay, this is Overwatch 2. It feels like a full-fledged PvE experience, but that's no longer the case. And so that puts Activision Blizzard and Overwatch, the IP, in an awkward position. He continues, if we can't turn back the clock, then what can we do? We can keep adding to and improving Overwatch 2. That is how we move forward. This means more maps, heroes, game modes, missions.
No, nobody gives a fuck. That's what I think. I don't think anybody gives a fuck. Like, people that were playing Overwatch 1 are probably still going to play Overwatch 2 because they like the core gameplay. Sure, definitely. Good for them. But I don't think that anybody else is going to care. Like, you can't just cancel something this big and be like, okay, well, what can we do instead? No. Like, what they did, like, they did something to a game that is almost impossible to do for a game. Is they killed people's hope. And I know this is kind of like a fucking, you know, like maybe a little bit... it's saying a lot, right? But they killed the hope of this game ever being more than what it is. And that hope is what strung people along for so long.
Stories, events.
And that's impressive. Like, few games managed to actually kill the player base's hope for the game to ever be more than what it is now. But Overwatch succeeded. I have 4.5k hours in Overwatch, but as you said, I don't care about anything PvE, maps, or heroes, to be honest. I just want to play it to kill time. Awesome, dude. That's great. And, like, I hope you're having fun. Like, there's nothing wrong with liking Overwatch and playing it. I think Overwatch it plays relatively well. Like, there are a few things I don't like, but overall, I think it plays very well. It's a smooth game. It's well designed in a lot of capacities, and yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about it in that way. However, you know, I was expecting for it to be more than just like a 5v5 hero shooter. Diablo 1, Diablo is one bad season away from being in the same spot. No, Diablo is like 5 bad seasons away from being in the same spot. And in my opinion, I think Diablo can release 20 bad seasons and people will still buy Diablo 5 because the core experience of Diablo 4 was not awful for enough people. It's like, for example, if Diablo 4 had canceled Nightmare Dungeons and they canceled the open world and they canceled the campaign. That's what Overwatch 2 canceling PvE was really like. Now, people would still play Diablo 4 even if they did all those things because they just like Diablo, but there's a lot less of them.
Cosmetics and features, an ever-expanding, evolving, and improving game. This is the future of Overwatch. I think you forgot to mention the monetization elements that permeate the game and that in many ways corrupt the progression loop of the game and that sense of feeling like the game rewards you for the time that you invest in the game rather than just the money that you invest in it. There's just so much more stuff that feels like you have to pay for, and the fact that heroes aren't unlocked automatically for you unless you grind through the free battle pass or you pay $10 for the premium battle pass that will unlock.
Yeah, and again, like, I have to say, like, as somebody who, like, I still think that Overwatch 2 is better monetization ethically, But like a lot of the people that play Overwatch 2, how many of you guys that play Overwatch 2 owned Overwatch 1? So for every single one of you, it was a downgrade. Like, it might be better for the long-term health of the game in like the next 10 years, but immediately it is a downgrade. Because you used to be able to work towards the skins, now you can't.
Those heroes automatically, combined with a lot of the coolest cosmetics straight up just being paywalled, being impossible to earn, and just being a worse monetization system than freaking loot boxes from Overwatch 1, which is already controversial because it was essentially gambling. Like, it, you know, that's the stuff that doesn't get mentioned here that really does affect every part of the long-term experience of this live service. And, you know, I hope that they manage to pull it back somehow and that future content releases will really feel substantial enough where it'll rekindle my...
I don't think that they're going to be able to recover this in 2 years. Like, I don't think that in 2 years they're going to be able to recover any degree of credibility. Maybe 5. Like, I think that they, like, as I said, I think that, like, again, that announcement killed hope. It killed the IP.
Move this a bit. Passion for Overwatch, but for my part, as someone who played Overwatch 1 heavily throughout the lifespan of that game, it was like my go-to competitive shooter for a long time.
I think that there are more fans now of Overwatch porn than Overwatch.
You know, at this stage, I just have no interest in the future of Overwatch. I'm so deflated by everything happening to this game, and I'm so not feeling hopeful about how all this will play out, and I'm so tired of the way the game keeps goading me into trying to spend more and more, and I'm just kind of tired of all of it. And
I never felt that way, like getting goaded into spending more money, but like I think it's like all beside the point. Right? Like, I spent a lot of time defending Overwatch 2, but don't get it twisted. Like, I don't know whenever I'm going to go back play Overwatch 2 again. I don't know if I ever will.
Moved on to greener pastures. But if they can bring it back somehow, you know, if they can really improve the experience, great. But I'm still waiting for that to happen. And the addition of story missions that are, you know, well made, especially where the cutscenes and the dialogue between characters is concerned, but ultimately isn't that big a deal, and they're fairly short.
It doesn't matter.
They're charging $15 for these story missions.
The problem is that, like, the missions aren't long enough in order for people to justify spending the money in order to access them. Especially whenever it's like $15. I bet you can probably buy The Witcher 3 for $15 nowadays. You can probably buy what else for $15? Probably Dark Souls 1 for $15. There's a lot of Valheim, Skyrim, Risk of Rain, Game Pass. Yeah, it's just the value proposition just isn't there. Except for people that are like super fans of the game.
Scrapping the hero missions PvE, all of that makes it something that I don't feel like I have to tune into. It makes me feel like I can skip the story missions and just not be invested in all of this, especially when the story missions are not a complete package, but rather the first chapter of many. It's not a full-fledged campaign.
It's still not a complete package.
It is just the first episode, essentially. And they're going to charge $15, or I don't know if exactly $15, but they are going to charge money every time they release new story content. This has been confirmed. As reported by Kotaku here in their impressions piece of Overwatch 2 Invasion, every new set of story missions will need to be purchased in order to access them.
Have they said that you can go back and do the old ones if you buy the battle pass to do the new one? So, like, if there have been 3 story missions that have happened and you buy the battle pass, can you do all 3 of them? What did you expect? Well, I expect that you wouldn't be able to. You know, in Honkai Star Rail, a gacha pay-to-win trash game with anime waifus, even they let you replay the events. Oh, God.
Which is complete bullshit.
Jesus.
This is starting to feel like it'll become more and more like Destiny 2, where it's
I bet they want it to be.
Necessarily free to play, but rather free to access. And if you really want the full breadth and depth of content, you do have to shell out money. Free-to-play players are not going to get the complete experience. And it'd be one thing if the story missions were really substantial and really rich in content, but we're talking about 3 story missions that are $15 in price. And the only thing that might make this bundle worth it, this Overwatch 2 Archives bundle that gives you permanent access to the Invasion story missions, is if you were planning to get the Battle Pass to begin with, because this does give you 1,000 Overwatch coins, which can buy you the premium Battle Pass. So if that was your plan, this bundle technically costs you $5. But given the bad will that's been generated by Overwatch 2, and given that...
It's just so lame, bro. Like, this is so lame. I just... Like, it's like, it's just fucking... I don't even want to say it. I just want to sit here and just fucking, like, take it in. Even mind the story they said is free, and the story missions have tag as free missions, and they're $15
okay,
each.
fixed it.
Ah, I'm up.
Well, whenever they said free...
Fucking retarded Python.
Well, they are free.
Zitiere fucking retarded Python. Do you have a GitHub time? Or a pastebin? Or can you honestly, if you can, just send it Nana in WhatsApp code somehow? You're like a parent, Lime. You have to go back to school and learn something for the kids to explain. Or like learn something new in this case.
Free. You just have to pay $15 first. But after you pay the $15, then they're free. I
sent her it, yeah.
Oh.
It's just like, it's just sad, man. At this point, I strongly suspect active sabotage. You know what? That would make me feel so much more safe and secure and good. Because at least if there was an active sabotage, that would mean that somebody out there has a plan. You know? It would mean that somebody out there has at least an idea of what's going to happen. Somebody is competent.
The goal is to draw in more players. Them locking the story missions, which is a substantial piece of content for this free-to-play game, behind a paywall, just seems like a really tone-deaf idea. Impressions surrounding the story missions themselves range from, actually, it's pretty good, to, meh, they're fine.
I bet they're great. But that's $15. $15 is a lot of money.
Nobody says it's like earth-shattering. Nobody's saying like this is going to be what brings you back to Overwatch 2. But generally there's a sentiment of, okay, like these missions do feel like challenging and fun, and the cutscenes are cool, and the story developments are nice and all that. But ultimately, when it comes to the question of is it worth your money, here's a piece by Kotaku where they're like, I don't know. I don't think so, really. Scrolling further down, the Kotaku article elaborates further. Is the $15 extra cost worth it? Well, heroes are locked behind
Nobody can make a value assessment like that for anybody else. Like, for somebody who's a huge fan of Overwatch, of course it's worth it. For somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, it's probably not worth it. For somebody that has money to burn, then it is probably worth it. But it depends on what $15 means to you.
Battle Pass. You have to grind for them through the free Battle Pass or fork over $10 for the premium one, which grants you immediate access to the newest character. Legendary skins, which used to be found in loot boxes you could either earn or pay for, are difficult to get now without forking over money. Best skins, often shown in the trailers for new seasons, are only available for purchase in the in-game store. And every new set of story missions will need to be purchased in order to access them. The game already feels way too monetized as it is, and the fact that they're just adding an extra layer through substantial content that's not just cosmetics, but rather a substantial aspect of the game, the story missions, the fact that they're paywalling that, like that is gameplay affecting stuff right there. You know what I mean? It's experience affecting stuff, and they're going to do it.
Yeah, it's like you're paywalling actual gameplay content. Like this small little sliver of content that still makes it to where it's they still have some
but didn't
PvE
play it much,
in Overwatch
honestly.
2. That tiny little piece, yeah, you've got to pay money for that.
Every time they release new story content. If they would have shipped a full-fledged
level 12, I
experience
think,
with the story missions, and alongside that, the PvE hero missions, then it would have felt like a complete enough package where they could have gotten away with charging extra for that substantial piece of PvE content. But this is a shadow of what was originally promised, and $15 for that? Like, come on. And for them to do that every time, however much they're going to charge for these story missions with new releases, I imagine it's going to be $15 every time, but I don't know for sure. Like, come on. And yeah, these story missions, they aren't that long. They're like 20 to 30 minutes each is what the general...
Bro, you probably get your dick sucked for less than that. Like 20 or 30 minutes? Like, I'm
it was
sure
the
that
quotes
there are
around the 1 and 2, by the way.
Less than $30 an hour. Like, I don't know, but like, I bet there probably are. That's nuts, man.
Consensus has been so an hour and a half experience tops.
California,
and yeah, there are multiple difficulties, and you can challenge yourself by tackling them in the hardest difficulty, and that, you know, you can potentially get more hours out of it. But the base experience of, you know, getting through the missions
because
as if it
input
were a
provides
campaign
a string.
experience, you're really
because input provides a string. Der sagt Klammer auf,
You have to then compare the string against a string.
Sagt, muss ich das alles vorlesen, Mann?
only talking about an hour and a half worth of gameplay. And even when it comes to replayability, some would argue that the replayability is questionable. As for what other outlets have been saying about the Overwatch 2 story missions, well, here's Digital Trend.
Ach so, vielleicht fehlten sie davor. Kann das sein denn? Nana, ich kenne mich mit Python nicht aus. Du darfst mir keine Fragen dazu stellen, Digga.
Does it make sense?
I don't know.
Friends who said that the missions did live up to the players' expectations, even if it still feels like we're only getting a part of a greater whole. It does not.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're gonna make you a cake. Never mind, you're just gonna get the icing off of one piece of the cake, and it's only one side of the icing. There you go. So it's kind of like the whole cake, right? I mean, hey.
feel like a complete arc or a complete story or a complete campaign. It feels like only the first act of a larger story. JJ Trent straight up says here that the most disappointing aspect of Overwatch 2 story missions is that the story itself isn't complete at release, which is what like Anthem suffered from. Here's an impressions piece from .esports. They say that both fans of Overwatch lore and FPS players addicted to a challenge will find a lot to enjoy with Invasion's missions. Again, the content itself is not bad, it's just not substantial enough to justify the price point. Not to mention that .esports brings up the point of if these missions had released when Overwatch was at the apex of its popularity and positive sentiments, it would have gone down better. I just can't help but wonder if the excitement for these PvE missions would have been way more palpable several years ago.
Well, people would have been super hyped for them, man. Like, for example, if they had released these leading up to Overwatch 2 as like, hey, this is a taste of what to expect, they actually did this with Warcraft 3 leading up to WoW. There was like a special, do you guys remember this in Warcraft 3? The Rexar campaign that you could do, and it was like, hey, this is going to be kind of like what you're going to get in World of Warcraft. Dude, that was so fun. Like, if they had done that leading up to Overwatch 2 and like at the beginning of Overwatch 2, dude, people would have been...
By the way, Lime, I did a lot of oiling. I made a lot of money again. Thank you.
So hyped. Everybody would have done them.
It just feels like these missions would have been better served years ago while the game was at the peak of its popularity. Other outlets like PC Game Zen have pointed out that, once again, the story missions are charming and they're not bad at all. They can be fun for how long they last, but the weight of expectations hangs heavy.
You're welcome, haha.
It's like you can never see the PvE missions anymore without looking at them through the lens of...
Nana says,
what you
thank
aren't
you.
getting. Because like it's like anchoring, right? So like whenever you do sales, right, you want to anchor a high price so like you can lower it, and then the customer's mind they're getting a good deal. Well, Blizzard set the anchor on the fucking moon, and then they're like, well, hey, we're gonna give you a 2-story building. Isn't this great? Well, no, bitch, I want it to be on the moon.
Experiences at the missions themselves are a whole lot of fun, but there is the shadow that looms in regards to the hero missions that aren't made up for by the story missions, because nothing in these missions is truly revolutionary. They're fun and all, but nothing groundbreaking, nothing earth-shattering, nothing worth saying now's the time to play Overwatch 2. Nothing to make up for the fact that, unfortunately for Invasion, its arrival among the greater context of the Overwatch 2 PvE's long-standing saga, referring to the hero missions, makes it feel perhaps more important than it could possibly ever have lived up to. This article also echoes sentiments that what's here is neat, but is it $15? But is it $15?
Yeah, it's like you can't have such a small slice of content and ask people to pay $15 for it regularly and then take it out of the game arbitrarily to make people want to buy the next one. That just sounds like fucking garbage. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? You're asking people to spend $15 to play 30 minutes of a content, or an hour and a half at best of content, and then you're going to take it out of the game later on for no reason. There's no reason to take it out of the game other than to create FOMO, and then make people spend $15 again? Like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, whenever you actually explain it, this isn't a dick in a salad. This is a salad of dicks. What the fuck's wrong with these people?
$15 neat? No. As a one-off package presented as the first true arrival of Overwatch 2 PvE, and with a $15 minimum buy-in price, I think a lot of players will feel underwhelmed by what Invasion has to offer. And finally, here we have an article from The Verge, which had a more tepid response to the Invasion event, saying that Overwatch 2 needs a win. The Invasion event, at best, is a draw. This article criticizes Flashpoint for its simplicity and it being too similar to existing game types. It just didn't work for this particular editor. Scrolling further down, the article makes mention of the story missions being just okay. I didn't really feel like the story itself was doing anything new, especially with respect to the characters. I returned to this game over and over specifically because of the characters. I'd hoped the missions would offer me some new nugget to latch onto, and it didn't. Now, it is clarified here that the story missions aren't bad, which is what everyone's saying. Nothing about the story missions are
I mean, but nobody's saying they're incredible either, right? It's like the Diablo 4 campaign. I think the Diablo 4 campaign was pretty good. Like, the story was pretty good. But it's not as good as Marius in the inn, is it? It's just it's not as good though, right? Yeah. It's wasn't there.
Offensive, they're neat, they're fun, they're a nice little thing to go through if you're still playing Overwatch 2. They're actually a pleasant, if ho-hum experience, exacerbated by the fact that I was playing with bots. But 3 20 to 30 minute missions that essentially repackage the typical Overwatch quick play experience in admittedly gorgeous new locations is a tough buy for someone looking to fall in love with the game again, especially since you have to pay an extra $15 for it. Yeah, these same sentiments you can see are echoed over and over and over again by numerous outlets. And then on Reddit, when it comes to community sentiments, there's somebody here asking if Invasion was worth $15 for you. There are folks saying that it was worth $5. This individual was going to buy the battle pass, so that...
Well, I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, for people that are posting on the Overwatch subreddit, yeah, I definitely bet it's worth it for them. 100%. Yeah, but like, this isn't going to bring in a new audience. Of course, people that are following the subreddit for the game at this point are still going to buy it, yeah. Spent more on gachas yourself? Oh, absolutely. But I know that it's a waste of money. That's the difference. And also, like,
I just
whenever
spammed
you're
her.
buying something
Ruffle.
specific, and this is why the gachas work. And also,
Mama's
I would
almost
buy
ready.
the Overwatch thing to play it on stream because it's all content for me. You think I'd fuck around with that stuff if I wasn't streaming? Fuck no. So I go look at the game that I play off stream. It's the Halls of Torment. I'm playing Halls of Torment off stream. I'm not sitting here fucking spending money on gacha games. I do the dailies, but that's about it.
Hopefully I explained what the
value
problem
offered by
was.
the fact that the package, the $15 package, gives you 1,000 coins to buy the next battle pass, makes it technically a $5 expense for this individual. For $5, this person's like, you know, yeah, for $5 it was worth it. Some people did have a great time with the character interactions, the game cutscenes, and all that, but gameplay-wise, it may not appeal to players who aren't fans of hold out this spot and defend waves of attackers, which is what the entirety of the gameplay ultimately comprises. There's no fascinating and cool like level design stuff per se. It's more about the set pieces and the cutscenes, the character interactions, and the bombastic nature of the expanded levels and all these things, which, you know, might satisfy some, but for $15, it's certainly not going to satisfy.
It's not going to... I don't think it brings anybody back. I don't think anybody sees that, like, a mission like this. Maybe somebody would come back to play a mission for, like, their favorite character. Like, I'd say, like, maybe if they had a Reinhardt mission or something like that, I would be more likely to come back. But I probably wouldn't do it.
The masses. Others complain about the length of the story missions. Are fun, but they're far too short. I completed them in a couple hours, and they don't leave much incentive to go back and play them again. Replayability is, in fact, called into question. I'm happy with 1,000 credits and Soj skin, though. So overall, I can't complain. So again, those who are existing Overwatch 2 players and are still going through the battle passes and are going through the grind and are just looking for more reasons to keep them engaged, like, it'll serve them well enough. But for everyone else who have fallen out of Overwatch, or for a community that's still upset about the way they handled the hero missions and are looking for some kind of redemption, it doesn't seem like this is quite it. And I suppose only time will tell whether future story mission releases and content releases and updates and events...
Well, it's never going to be building towards a greater whole. And I think, like, what I had hoped with Overwatch 2 is that Overwatch 2 could one day become like WoW. It could one day get to be that big. To where, like, it's like open world, you're seeing other players, there's open spaces, you interact with other people. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping it could turn into something like an open world game, or at least like a lobby-based game, kind of. So dead? Yeah. No, why would you think that? The reason why I thought that is because Overwatch was derivative of Titan, and Titan was supposed to be an MMO. So my assumption was that they made Overwatch to scrap Titan, but the core DNA and what the people in the Overwatch team, previously the Titan team, really wanted to do was make an MMO. So I assumed that Overwatch 2 was their first foray towards doing something that was similar to that. That's what I thought. And no, it's actually not what I thought. It's what I hoped.
Can gradually improve over time, or if it'll just be kind of a steady decline, or just kind of a ho-hum.
Nana feels like she has to do the whole thing on computer because she's using apps to do it, and yeah, she's being more and more suspicious about the apps being garbage.
You can just install it on the PC.
Yeah, Nana did that
Oh,
already.
I see. Apps to learn.
Yeah, apps to learn and something Python. Yeah, like a console.
Long-term experience. We'll see. In the meantime, though, this is everything you need to know about the current state of Overwatch 2, Blizzard's response to the overwhelmingly negative review score of Overwatch 2 on Steam, it becoming the worst user-reviewed game on Steam of all time, and what people are generally saying about the release of story missions, the first substantial piece of PvE content. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on all of this, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on
Windows.
Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
I think it's so
The Python compiler
funny
will be legit at least, provided
Blizzard
she downloaded
actually
it from the
addressed
official
it directly.
Python website.
I do. I think it's so fucking funny. Like, if you go back and you look at this, like, it's actually them talking about it. Many of the reviews on Steam mention a cancellation of the much larger component of PvE. I get that. The announcement was about an ambitious project that we ultimately couldn't deliver. Yeah. Like, that's crazy that they actually addressed it directly, man. It was such a mistake. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, again, like, I feel bad for... I kind of feel bad for them, but I mean, based off of like what I've seen on Diablo 4, I think it's probably their fault that it doesn't work.
She's installing it.
That's just my opinion. So you think they should play dumb? Well, I mean, you don't have to play dumb, but you don't have to address it directly. Like, I don't know, maybe it was a better idea to address it directly. I just didn't expect it to happen. You know, like there's a video. This is a long video. I think this is a pretty good one. Yeah, I just think it's sad. I do. I think that Overwatch, like, they successfully killed people's hope for the rest of the game. They killed.
You can use online tools which will just run Python for you.
Like they killed what the game could have been. And I think that's what's so sad about it.
That's what I did at least.
It really sucks, man. Because I was really excited to play the game. I was. And I was hoping, like, oh, maybe one day I'll play Overwatch 2 again.
Yeah.
And I had it in the back of my mind, one day I'll play Overwatch 2 again. And it just never really happened. And it's just like, I don't think it's ever gonna happen now. Like, I don't really have, like, I would have in the back of my mind, oh, I hope Overwatch sponsors me again, so I'll have
just
to play
Googled
the game.
Python online,
then,
I think
ROFL.
ROFL.
I'll play again, and it'll be fun. But, like,
or Python
now,
online compiler.
I don't know, like, I just, if they sponsor me, I'd play it, sure. But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's not a bad game.
Thank you from Nana.
Right? It's just that I don't have hope for it to be anything more than what it is. And I think that's one of the big differences. Like, Overwatch is doing, like, it's got 15k viewers, right? But it also has drops. So, like, if you have drops, I would take, like, it's probably 30% extra viewers just because of drops. So, I don't know, guys. It's just kind of sad. Yeah, I think it's still not that bad compared to Riot.
Same.
I mean, the Riot, the $200 skin. Who cares about the $200 skin? I didn't give a fuck about that. People don't want to buy
today,
it.
Lime?
Don't buy it. It's that simple.
Not much, 30 minutes maybe.
Ah, vielleicht 30 Minuten hat er gearbeitet. What was the main thing you did today, Lime?
We have some new internal product that we wanted to go live tomorrow. Sai was checking on it. Cause it should have run this morning at about 0100 hours. But it didn't.
Of course not. Mission successfully failed.
Everything you have done has only made things worse.
Well, I expect that the delirium fog will always stay. It's so cool.
I need more mana.
Basically one guy copied half of the stuff and I updated the other half. And we missed an access key KEKW.
Oh.
When I'm ready, and not before.
So basically, It didn't have the rights to do what it needed.
Nice. Finding the problems in coding sounds so annoying.
It's okay, we'll just run it tomorrow. It didn't take long to find out what was wrong.
I need more mana. mycelium! Ugh, new roots! I need more mana. When I'm ready, and not before. I like it best this way. When I'm ready, and not before. I need more mana.
das ausmachen?
My regards.
WTB never sleep.
Ja, same. Time will auch nicht schlafen. Sucks, because I need to go to sleep now too. Denke ich mal. This map and then I'm gone, Lime. I have an appointment tomorrow with the tenant mold.
I am debating getting a T but dunno KEKW.
I need more mana.
I'm slowly climbing up in levels too. I hit 96 today and now 18% of this one.
When should I look to upgrade gear once I get to maps? T5, T10, T16 or more often? Halfway there.
Every time you can nuke. Thing is, you need to have a goal. More like that. It's like, okay, my next step is this and this. And then you farm the money for it. If your build hits a wall where you can only do tier 5 max, then tier 5 it is. Until you farm enough currency to upgrade. Or, for example, on this character, this was my league starter, I was fine with dying in tier 16. So I did it regardless. I have 59 deaths, which is okay. Considering I played for 4 days, 9 hours. So yeah. That's my take, I guess.
When I'm ready and not before. I need more mana. New mycelium! New roots! What this tower can really do! When I'm ready, and not before.
Huh. Oh, no.
This way, exile.
Nana's in the pit of unknowingness again.
I need more mana.
Standard.
Mhm.
Too much clutter.
Guess my explanation didn't help then, KEKW.
My regards.
Guess my explanation didn't help. Your explanation helped, but she wants to something install Python. I don't know. Let's not talk about coding anymore.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Coding good.
Oh, Lime, you didn't see my character I made.
Are there any good 3-button builds out there? I don't have the coordination to press many buttons, probably why I suck so bad lulz.
Yeah, Righteous Fire is great. For this build here, all I do is hold down, summon Raging Spirit. Hold on, look at my character name.
Yes. Grug smash.
Nuke. You can also play this build here. You activate Righteous Fire, and then you walk. Watch. GG. This build is perfect for my brain capacity. And this is tier 16.
This is like me walking into a room at work. Everything just explodes.
Nice.
I have a RF character LVL86, following a guide from Zizaran currently on T9 maps.
Good. Perfect build.
I cannot do this yet.
Ja, schon durch. Ach, was anderes.
RF explosive traps.
Okay, people, I'm going offline. Have a good one, Nuke. Keep farming. See you, Lime. Maybe tomorrow?
GNGN to you both. Later.
Yeah.